Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome. I'll let everybody in here for a moment before we get started on this workshop, which is going to be so awesome today. I'm really excited for this one. So come on in. If you don't already have a drink and a comfy place to be, get yourself set up, get relaxed. We're going to have a powerful hour together and we can get started. So before we officially dive in, I will ask if anybody coming in has yourself labeled as like, iPhone 12 or Galaxy something or whatever. If you could do me the favor of just putting your name in there so that I can see who you actually are. It's so helpful. I know so many of us, we see each other as a profile picture in a community or whatever, and we don't know what we look like in real life. And putting a name with a face is always just a wonderful thing. So if you could do that, that would be awesome. And also, if you want to drop in the chat where you're tuning in from. I love to see how many different parts of the country, the world end up joining us for these and where everybody is coming in from. And I will check out what's happening here. All right, we got Connecticut, Vancouver, we got Canada in the house. We've got lots of different people in the States here. We've got Paraguay. Emil's always bringing it from Paraguay. All right. We've got lots of people from all over the place. All right, cool. I'm really excited about this one today. I also want to know one more thing in the chat before we get started. And there's no judgment here because we're not here to condemn screen time. That is not at all what this workshop is about, or even to become altogether free of it. We're here to raise awareness, to get intentional, and to understand ourselves better. So I would love to know what the last little bit of screen time is that you consumed, or even what your favorite screen time is. Netflix, is it scrolling a particular social media platform? Is it watching YouTube videos or shorts? Is it going on an Amazon shopping spree, playing Candy Crush, Wordle, some other video game? Drop it in the chat because we're going to start really getting honest with ourselves about all of this and in the best possible way. It's going to be a lot of fun. I want to make sure that's understood because I think, our guest today, Matthew Thompson, loves play and adventure as much as I do, I think. So this is really going to be fun, something that a lot of people don't tend to think is fun, which is, looking at our relationship with screen time. So for anybody who doesn't know me well yet, I'm Theresa Lear Levine, EFT master practitioner, hypnotherapist, international best-selling author, yada, 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 right? Today's workshop really aligns with me in the work that I'm passionate about with subconscious mind work and the nervous system, because so much of that is about helping us to reclaim our time, our energy, and basically everything that matters in our life, right? And I put emphasis on that because it's such an important part of my own journey. And it's something that I return to over and over again. And I think that's because, life requires tune-ups, right? Things change. We need to check up on things and realign from time to time, or we can really get easily sucked into whatever's pumping through our screens, right? The next shiny thing, and even other people's initiatives, which without our awareness might not even be aligned with our most meaningful desires for our life, our family, our legacy, business, health, all of those things. So today's workshop is a collaboration with somebody I think you're really going to like. And he's going to provide a lot of value, and I really think this is going to be a huge benefit to all of you. So in a moment, I'm going to introduce you to Matthew Thompson. I actually met Matthew through a business coach of mine, had the chance to experience his screen time adventure myself back in September, and I love that name, Matthew. I love how you changed that recently. It really speaks to what it really felt like to go through that, which was an adventure. It's absolutely fantastic. And I don't normally do collabs in my workshops for those of you who attend them regularly. So if I'm inviting somebody in here into this space with us, I personally really value what they're doing. And I know that screen time isn't something that we've spent a lot of time talking about directly in the Becoming More Me community, but I know that with a lot of my clients and community members, when we're talking in the DMs, it comes up. It comes up how it's affecting your mental state, as well as your ability to stay in connection with intuition, self-trust, and too much screen time definitely erodes those very things. And so I love to help people with calm, clarity, and confidence, right? And we have so much more of that and a better foundation for pleasure-fueled success and abundance when we also kind of get a check on how we're using screens. So Probably a good time to, first of all, make sure that you guys have the link for my school community, because being on school and in school is going to be important for all of this, including what Matthew is going to share with us. So I know most of you, I recognize most of you in there, but if you just came in through Instagram or Facebook, through a post on there or something, please make sure that you have joined the Becoming More Me community on school. It's also where you're going to be able to access this replay later on if you want to revisit it, the EFT or the hypnotherapy that we're going to do, or all the great information that Matthew is going to share. So take a moment to pop in there, and I will make sure that one of my admins lets you in while we are on this workshop today. All right. You're going to love Matthew. He has an incredible way of storytelling and making the whole idea of reclaiming your time just it's fun, right? Doable and fun. And as somebody also who creates courses and programs myself, I'm really inspired by the way Matthew does it. He's very engaging, so is his content. So I wanted to bring him here because I think all of you amazing, busy-minded and ADHD entrepreneurs and professionals are going to get a lot of value and inspiration. And once we have a chance to, get to know Matthew, hear all the awesome stuff he has to share, we're going to put a little nervous system nourishing subconscious mind rewiring bow on everything, tie it together with some EFT and some hypnotherapy, and help you all integrate this on a deeper level, which means that you're really going to be given the keys to transform your life on so many different levels and really show up in a new and different way for your life, your family, your business, all that. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to Matthew Thompson. Thank you so much for being here today, Matthew.
Theresa, absolute pleasure. It's been super fun to connect with you the last couple of months, and to be here with your beautiful people is just what a beautiful way to end the week.
I couldn't agree more. I always love to start with sharing a little bit about you. I want to know you on a personal level, where you live, who you like spending your time with, and why you're so passionate about helping people to get their time back.
Yeah, so my name is Matthew. I'm from Ireland, if the accent didn't give it away. And if you don't understand anything that I say, please just drop something in the chat being like, mate, what did you just say? Can you repeat that bit? And I'll try my best to flip into Americanese. It's funny, actually, whenever you were saying, we're going to have a powerful hour, I was like, you mean a powerful hour? So let's have a powerful hour together. And yeah, I mean, I'm here in a little village in Ireland. This looks like a pretty fancy background. It's actually just like a garden shed. So it's like, this is the behind the scenes. This is what it looks like. It's like very, very non-dramatic. This is like a little camp chair over here. It's my little radiator. But yeah, I built this over COVID. I'm very, very fortunate. I've got two young kids, 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, two daughters, been married for 10 years, married a woman from Germany, met her in New York City. And why am I passionate about screen time? Well, there's a lot of talk about being an early adopter these days, right? About being ahead of the curve, about being first to market. And I was first to market with problems with screen time. So I was born in 1995, and I have a super big, long violin story that we could go into and make everyone cry. But the little kind of like flash, like weird kind of like little bits of proof is that by the time I was 16, I had a full blown addiction to, I'm going to use the word corn, explicit content, just in case anyone is, around you that shouldn't know what that is. I had clocked in 20,000 hours of video games, and I even had a suicide attempt because of screen abuse. I had watched this like fun, enjoyable thing. It went from, singing Hakuna Matata with Timon and Pumbaa on VHS to like all of a sudden it's like, whoa, what is an iPhone? And whoa, what is social media? And whoa, why am I spending 14 hours a day in this digital world? And the way they've designed these products, the way they've designed these platforms, a child's mind is very susceptible. An adult's mind is also susceptible. And I was very fortunate, and that might seem an interesting word to use, but it'll become a little bit clear why. I was very fortunate to experience a lot of this pain and suffering from an early age, because it kind of prepared me for the big wave that came 10 years later. Because whenever I was, 12, 13 years old, my granny would be like, oh, kids these days spending so much time on their screens. And now my granny spends equally as much time on her iPad and is sucked in just the same way. So I've been fortunate. I personally feel like me and the friends that I've been able to build the last 15 years, we are 15 years ahead of this problem. And so we've learned so many things. I ended up doing a PhD on the subject. I've helped thousands of people around the world. I've worked with addiction, homelessness in New York City, gangs, drug addicts, the whole shebang. And I feel like I have some really like practical things to share in a very fun little Irish hobbity sort of way to actually make it sustainable and easy for everyone to implement.
That. And I wonder if there are any Lord of the Rings fans here because you bring a really cool Lord of the Rings element to things in what you do, and I love that about what you do. So, what do you think makes this addiction of screens so difficult to break free from? And like, how have you come about a way of doing it differently so that people can have fun doing it?
Yeah, so I think it's easier to think about this whenever you kind of take it back to the basics. Okay, so I saw a lot of people in the chat saying they like crosswords or Wordle or whatever. It's like no one spends, as far as I know, 16 hours a day doing crosswords on a newspaper. Or throw out something else that you love. Let's say chess, right? No one spends 16 hours a day just like playing chess. The thing that's interesting is that the online world, digital systems, have made pretty much everything addictive. So whether it's watching things, reading things, playing things, connecting with our friends, it's not necessarily that we are addicted to the things themselves. We become addicted to the way that they are delivered. So maybe use kind of like a bit of a strange language. We're not addicted to the drug that goes through the needle. We're addicted to the needle itself. And to kind of like walk back a few steps to kind of like explain how we got here. So if you think about something like a phone, back in the day, everyone had a phone like this. So this is my main phone, right? Anyone remember these bad boys? You can play football with it. You can use it to stop, a burglar. You could probably like use it as a float device if you fall into the ocean. They're like absolutely indestructible. And what could you do on this phone? Well, I'll actually go through. So I can call my mum. I can text my granny, who actually she just left. She always brings over potato bread and soda bread on a Friday for us and the kids. Great. Had a great lunch. And there's not even any games on this. So I can't doom scroll a dumb phone. It's like not possible, right? I can't play Candy Crush on this. I can't scroll TikTok. And so, even as little as 20 years ago, none of us had to deal with this problem because the problem didn't exist. And then all of a sudden, Steve Jobs brings out one of these bad boys. And I always like to say, it's like, do you notice anything on the back of the Apple logo? Wendy's nodding her head. So there's a bite out of it. It's like, oh, what does that mean? For anyone into Hebrew stories, Hebrew Bible, Garden of Eden, it's a little bite out of the tree of knowledge. It's like the ultimate temptation is now in our pocket. It's like just these things. It's like, does this mean anything? Is this a coincidence? I don't know. I don't know. But basically, what we have is the same amount of genius, the same amount of talent, the same like absolute whiz kids that would have put a man on the moon 50 years ago. Their sole purpose is now to get us to spend an extra 7 minutes a day on Instagram. Like tech companies attract the smartest people on the planet because they have the most money, because they have the most leverage, because it's the ultimate business model. And every single time we go on our phones, I want you to start thinking about it this way. Every time I swipe open, it's me versus 10,000 of the smartest software engineers on the planet because that's what it is. And so if anyone ever feel like they have, fallen down the screen time rabbit hole, anyone ever spent longer on their phones than they wanted to? Right. So imagine if I could just like with confidence tell you that it's actually not your fault. It is intentionally designed to be that way. And so, every time you open this now, I just want you to have that in your head. It's like, okay, it's me going up against these smart nerds. Okay, let's go. Let's get the sword out. Let's get ready to rock and roll. It's like, I see you nerds. Come at me, bro. And if you want a little story to go at this, I like to think about it like David and Goliath. So if anyone, again, familiar with the Sunday school story of David and Goliath, David, this small, itty bitty, puny little guy. Goliath, this like big, 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 massive, massive giant. And David's like, hey, bro, I'm going to fight you. And Goliath just laughs his head off. He literally starts wetting himself. And for me, like, the giant is big tech, okay? We even call them tech giants. It's just funny how all these mythical like languages just kind of like line up. And that's what it's like. And sometimes you can win. Sometimes you have a good day. You're like, you know what? Stuff you, Candy Crush giant. I set you down today. I just played you for 15 minutes. And then other days, you're a little bit tired. You're maybe not feeling so good. Maybe you're stressed. Maybe you didn't sleep well last night because you were playing Candy Crush the night before. You just don't have as much steam in you for that battle. And so we can win this fight. It is possible, but they're there the next day waiting for us. And then they're there the next day. And then they're there the next day. And the next day. And the next day. Because everything's on this now. Your method of connecting to the world is this black remote control. It is this black mirror that reflects the worst parts of us. You know what I mean? You turn it off and you're looking and it's like mirror, mirror on the wall. Who wastes the most time of them all? It's like, it's me. And these things, they are like they've, you know, to use them as a remote control to order an Uber or order your food or order whatever. Great, amazing functional tool, life changing. The internet is the greatest invention that humanity has ever experienced. If I went back in time and told my great grandfather about this, he'd be like, oh, he would probably burn me at the stake for witchcraft. He'd be like, that's illegal. You can't. What do you mean? You can talk to hundreds of people around the world in your garden shed. It's like that's some form of magic, and it is. But there's a cost to that. And what I love to teach people is how do you make use, how do you surf the web, the greatest opportunity that's ever existed, without falling off the surfboard and without falling into the water. And if you go back to the David and Goliath story, David wins that battle not through normal combat. And actually, if you want to go really deep into the story, he goes to King Saul, who's the king of the time, and Saul gives him like this armor. He gives him the sword. He's like, all right, young lad, away you go. Away get the giant. And David's like, mate, none of this fits me. It's just so clunky. It's not going to work. And for me, this represents the common advice, which is like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Use your discipline. Use your willpower. You just aren't trying hard enough. You need to try harder. Bro, David could try his hardest against the giant and he would still get absolutely stomped. And so if we approach big tech with these old tools of like willpower and discipline, I'm sorry, we're just going to get stomped. And I'm speaking from experience. Like I told you, my, the little trailer version of my story, it just doesn't work. And so in my own life, I kind of hit rock bottom with all this sort of stuff. And I had tried everything. I downloaded like 100 different types of blockers. I tried every single thing that I could imagine. I even got one of those little safes and put my phone in it and it locked it at a certain time and none of it worked until I came across a book called Willpower Doesn't Work. It's by a guy called Dr. Benjamin Hardy, clinical psychologist, PhD, big dude, smart guy, blah, blah. And his thesis of that book is every single day when you wake up, you have a incy wincy spider level of willpower. I'm so glad you laugh at all my jokes, Wendy. It's giving me encouragement. I'm feeding off your energy right now. This is awesome. You have a little tiny, tiny bit of willpower, and we spend that willpower all the time. The alarm clock goes off. Oh, I've just spent 1 out of my 10 willpower dollars for the day. Oh, my 2-year-old's crying at me and she won't eat her porridge. Well, there goes 4 willpower dollars trying to get this porridge into this 2-year-old. And it's like, by the time I come home from work, by the time I, put the kids to bed, by the time I've tidied up the house, it's like, I'm -5 willpower. Hey, Matthew. Hey, it's me. It's your good old pal, Mark Zuckerberg. You want a little bit of free dopamine? Would that make you feel better? I don't know, Mark. Didn't work out too good for me last night. Oh, go on, mate. Go on. It'll feel really good. You want to see a funny cat video? Well, I do quite like what? Next thing you know, it's 6 hours later. I go to bed late. My alarm bell goes off the next day, and I'm like, how did we get here? And so, if you rely on willpower, it will always, always, always let you down. Does anyone agree with that? I know that's very like counter to the culture. It's like willpower just doesn't cut it. So what this genius dude says is, and this concept changed my life. He says, if you take your willpower and you invest it into changing your environment, then you'll be free. Okay, what the heck does that mean? Invest your little bit of willpower into making changes to your environment that you don't no longer have to use your willpower. And so what I realized was, I'll come back to this classic example, okay? I do a lot of work with young men who are trying to overcome corn addictions. And so a really, really basic example is, right? Let's just pretend that you have a 13-year-old son or a 13-year-old grandson, and you're worried, what is he doing in his bedroom? I've heard stories, but couldn't be Jimmy. Not my Jimmy. I mean, other people's grandsons would look at that stuff, but not Jimmy. Jimmy's got a heart of gold, man. Jimmy would never do that. But let's just pretend that someone, a parent, a wise old parent, a wise old grandmother came along and said, hey, Jimmy, we're going to take this smartphone and we're just going to leave this downstairs. And you can't have that in your room anymore. Or you can have one of these in your room. That is a change to Jimmy's environment that would make it impossible for him to be exposed to something that he's not supposed to be exposed to. This is what I like to call a domino decision. You make a decision once, you flick it over, and this beautiful ripple effect happens where it makes a million decisions for you. So let's forget about Jimmy. Let's think about us. Let's pretend Candy Crush is your thing, right? And I agree with Susie. It's not just the men and boys that get stuck in porn. Appreciate you calling that out. Totally true. The stats speak for themselves about that. Let's pretend Candy Crush is your jam, right? You love a bit of Candy Crush. Let's just pretend, right? Hypothetical scenario that you made a domino decision to not take your phone into your bedroom. Let's just say that's all you did was just not take your phone into your bedroom. You would never play Candy Crush in your bed ever again. You can do lots of other things in your bed. There are millions of things that I can think of. Some are very fun, some help you sleep, some do both. And getting
I
rid
feel
of that.
my husband plays Candy Crush. You must have figured that out, huh?
Oh, I'm just so dialed into this woo-woo thing right now. It's like I'm receiving a message about someone's husband. I'm hearing noises, tasty. When I lived in New York, I used to hear people playing Candy Crush all the time. It was like burned into my head. Izzy's playing it right now. Shout out to Izzy. Love the honesty. This is not total judgment free, right? It's like, it's not your fault, bro. They've just made it that way. And so, can you see how making something just like in the two basic examples that we give, making a domino decision removes willpower from the equation? Because the alternative is, right, you wake up, picture the scene. It's 2:15 a.m. The full moon is out. You wake up, you can't sleep. You're like, oh, I've been lying here for 30 seconds. Feel a little bit of pain. I'm a little bit bored. Like, should I like go back to sleep or should I versus phone's not in the bedroom. You wake up. You're like, oh, it's been 30 seconds. I'm feeling kind of bored right now. I'm feeling like a little bit of but my phone's downstairs. But I made the decision to not bring my smartphone in my bedroom. Do you know what? Let me just try another 5 minutes. I'm sure I'm not gonna out, gone, or you read a book, or you sit there, you journal, you pray, you do whatever the things that you want to do. And so the whole approach that we've taken, because there's over like 300 people have gone through this method now, is forget about willpower. Let's just use some research backed domino decisions that we use a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of willpower flicking over. And then let's enjoy the beautiful, beautiful benefits. And for any physicists on the call, of which I'm sure there are many, there's this thing in physics called the geothermal effect of a domino, something like that. And it means that a little domino, just like a one you would see people playing, or setting up to flick over, a domino can knock over another domino 1.2 times bigger than itself. And so you flick that domino over and it can knock a bigger one over and a bigger one over and a bigger one over and a bigger one over. And by the time you get to the 18th domino, you can knock over the Empire State Building. And so the beautiful thing about domino decisions is we start to experience the benefits of compound interest in our lives. Because let's take the Candy Crush example. I will not play Candy Crush in my bed. I will not have my smartphone in my bedroom. Flick. What happens? My sleep gets better. My sleep continues to get better. Now that I'm sleeping better, I have a little bit more willpower. Oh, I have the ability to say no to things a little bit more. Oh my goodness, I'm eating a little bit better. Wow, I'm just all of a sudden, and then you end up with this life that you once had, you have now lost because it's been stolen from you. And you're like, how did I not live like this? Because it feels so good. It's because you've been pulled down this dopamine spiral staircase where it starts very, very, very slowly. You hear about this app called Facebook. It's really fun. You're connecting with all your friends, and then slowly over over time, you fall down and down and down and down and down and down and down. And the beautiful thing about spiral staircases is that they don't just go both ways, or they don't just go one way, they go both ways. And so, what I help people do is I help people slowly take steps up that staircase, back to that freedom, back to that clarity, back to that freedom that we once had. And we do it by changing our environments because you have not changed. You have not become a worse person. Your environment has changed. Kids all of a sudden aren't undisciplined and wretched little brats. It's like, no, the environments that they're being brought up in has changed. And so if an environment change is what got us into this mess, then it just makes total sense that an environment change will be the thing that gets us out. And really, really quick, last thing I'll say, I'm a podcaster, by the way, which is why I'm so silly on the mic. I've done like 1,000 episodes. I love interviewing people. I love communication. It's just like, it's my jam. It's what I love. I did a podcast series with one of the world's leading experts on depression called Dr. Stephen Alardi. And he wrote a book called The Depression Cure. And he basically proved that hunter-gatherers, so, communities around the world that still live in tribes and hunt their foods, the rates of depression among those people are 1 in 1,000. Then he studied Amish communities. We all know what Amish communities are. So they're not quite hunter-gatherers, but they're still pretty old school, right? Rates of depression, 1 in 100. Us bad boys in the Western world, normal life, it's 1/3 over the course of a lifetime. Do you know what changed? Did people all of a sudden in 30 years become radically different? Did their brains alter? Did we devolve suddenly? No, our environment's changed. And so that's my big, big, big passion. It's changed my life. Like I said, suicide survivor, long road with mental health, have now gone on, built a wonderful, wonderful family, wonderful, wonderful career, experienced the journey of a lifetime, and it's all because of these environmental changes. And so, yeah, just delighted to be here. And thanks for giving me a little space to share, Theresa. I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh. How could I not? It's always like so compelling to listen to you talk about anything, really. Um, so thank you, Matthew. I want to zoom in a little bit now. So I want to shift a little bit from what Matthew's talking about to some of the like what's happening beneath the habit stuff. And Matthew did a really good job of like exposing that too with the willpower and everything else. I've read that Benjamin Hardy book before. It's a good one. But when we're trying to change something that's become so normalized, right? And even like non-negotiable for a lot of us as part of our work life and everything else, it's never just about the behavior, right? It's about what the behavior is tied to in our nervous system, and it's about what our subconscious has come to believe is safe or familiar or even rewarding, right? So it's sneaky, right? And it can feel very rewarding, like what you were talking about when Facebook starts calling to you at bedtime when you're negative on willpower. It's not this obvious villain in our lives. It comes in the form of a break or a buffer or a comfort or even just that dopamine hit that we're just craving so badly in the moment and can get so easily now. And it can also be a great way to, avoid the overwhelm, numb out, all the too muchness of our worlds. And because of that, even when we know, like, oh, we've lingered here too long and gone down way too many rabbit holes and it's not serving our highest good, it can still feel incredibly hard to change the habits or even the environments, right? So if you've felt ashamed of how much time you've spent online, or even what you're viewing or purchasing or indulging in, or you've judged yourself for being distracted or inconsistent or unmotivated or out of alignment, any of these things, or even defeated by like how hard it is to follow through on your own intentions, then just like Matthew was saying, like this isn't about willpower. It's more of a wiring issue and an environment issue, like he was saying. So you're up against something that's designed by super savvy experts to intentionally hijack your attention, to override all of those internal cues, and then to create dependence. But you're here. So that's a good start, and you're choosing to do something about it. So we're going to work with your body and your subconscious a little bit right now, because if we only work with conscious goals and increasing awareness, which are also really important, we don't have the whole picture. So, what I'm going to guide you guys through next, and if you guys have been on my workshops before, you know we do EFT, we do hypnotherapy. So, we're going to do a little bit of that. And what I want this to do is to help you to feel more grounded, more safe in your body, and more centered in the present moment. And also more connected to that bigger vision, your relationships, your family, your health, your business, your purpose. And then from there, I'm going to guide you into a little bit of a hypnotic visualization designed to support your nervous system as you assess whatever your next steps are going to be with your relationship to screens. And then after that, Matthew's going to share something really awesome that he's going to let you in on. So I want to make sure that you know that what we're getting ready to do with the EFT and the hypnosis is going to be available to you on the replay while you also work with what Matthew has over the next week or so. And it's going to be beautiful to combine the two and to really allow things to take deeper root for you and provide increased benefits through the repetition of these processes. So yeah, the EFT is going to help release a little bit of that noise. The hypnosis is going to help to install the signal. And if everybody's ready, then we can kind of dig in. I would love it if you would mirror me in this, Matthew. Would you just repeat after me as we do the EFT?
I'm ready. Let's freaking go. Never
Cool.
done this before, but I'm down.
There we go. Let me add a pin to me so I'm beside you here on my screen, and not in a little window. All right. So it's perfect because if Matthew hasn't done this before, then anybody else who hasn't done it before can feel totally at ease. I'm going to guide you through it. I'm going to say something. You're going to say it back. For those of you who are muted and repeating after me, if I'm saying something and you have something that feels clearer or truer for you than the words I've come up with, say those words. Energetic blockages are what cause our feelings of dis-ease, our energetic misalignment, anything that doesn't feel quite right. So when we can speak to that succinctly and like precisely, we get a much better result in how we feel afterwards. So that's what I have to say about that. What I also want to do is to just have you rate before we start. I'm going to do like kind of a 0 to 10 scale. Like when you go to your doctor and they ask, how much something hurts or whatever, and you do a 0 to 10 scale. We're going to do the same thing right now for how activated we feel when we're thinking about our own screen time habits or even about changing them. And it's just a number, no judgment, just awareness. But, how on a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is the most, how much, either shame or frustration or resistance or fear are you feeling activated with about your relationship with screen time? And if you'd be willing, just drop that number in the chat and also write it down. When we're done this process, I'm going to have you share with me your start number and your end number so we can just see what shifted. All right. Um, oh, Wendy, I hope you're not at a 33. I hope that was a typo.
Man, sending thoughts and prayers to Wendy over here off the scale.
Hopefully, sometimes, these get sticky. All right. So, Matthew, I'm just going to have you repeat after me. Everybody else, just follow the leader with me. And if you're in a place where you can say this out loud, that's going to help too. So, here we go. We're going to start on the side of the hand, just tapping what we call the karate chop point for obvious reasons. Hiya. All right. Even though I've spent way more time on screens than I'd like to admit,
Even though I've spent way more time on screens than I'd like to admit,
I deeply and completely honor where I am right now.
I deeply and completely honor where I am right now.
Even though part of me feels ashamed or distracted,
Even though part of me feels ashamed and distracted,
maybe even discouraged about how hard it feels to change.
maybe even discouraged about how hard it feels to change.
I accept myself and just how human I am.
I accept myself and just how human I am.
And even though these devices and the content that streams through them
And even though the devices and the content that streams through them
has such a pervasive effect on my time and my thoughts and my feelings,
has such a pervasive effect on my time and my thoughts and my feelings,
I'm open to shifting these patterns gently, one choice at a time.
I'm open to shifting these patterns gently, one step at a time.
All right, we're going to start cycling through some other spots here. I've been losing a lot of time to screens.
I've been losing a lot of time to screens.
Sometimes I don't even realize how much.
Sometimes I don't even realize how much.
I reach for them when I'm tired, overwhelmed, bored,
I reach for them when I'm tired, overwhelmed, and bored,
or when I don't want to feel what's really there.
or when I don't want to feel what's really there.
Part of me knows it isn't helping me feel better
Part of me knows it is not helping me feel better
or accomplish the things that mean the most to me.
or accomplish the things that mean the most to me.
But the pull is real and addictive by design.
But the pull is real and addictive by design.
And I know my nervous system is just trying to cope.
And I know my nervous system is just trying to cope.
I've felt ashamed of my screen time,
I've felt ashamed of my screen time.
or maybe I've tried to justify it.
Or maybe I've tried to justify it.
End up feeling embarrassed or frustrated or defeated.
I end up feeling frustrated, embarrassed, or defeated.
Like I should have had this figured out by now.
Like I should have had this figured out by now.
Or I've normalized it
Or I've normalized it.
because everybody's walking around glued to a screen.
Because everyone's walking around like a zombie.
So, what does it really matter if I'm doing it too?
So what does it really matter if I'm doing it too?
But my gut says that it does matter.
My gut says that it does matter.
Sometimes I try to silence that voice of knowing.
Sometimes I try to silence that voice of knowing.
And the shame and embarrassment aren't creating change.
The shame and embarrassment are not creating change.
Instead, they're eroding my self trust and my confidence.
Instead, they're eroding my self-trust and confidence.
I'm human and I've been managing this as best I can.
I'm human and I've been managing this as best I can.
Greens have been a buffer or a break,
Screens have been a buffer or a break,
sometimes even an escape.
often even an escape.
But I'm ready to choose something different.
But I'm ready to choose something different.
Even though it makes me uneasy to think about the time I've wasted.
Even though it makes me sad to think about all the time that I've wasted.
I'm ready to get my time back,
I'm ready to get my time back.
my energy and my presence back.
My energy and my presence back.
I have a vision for my life that matters,
I have a vision for my life that matters.
for my health, my relationships, my work.
For my health and my relationships and my work.
And I'm choosing to stop letting screens steal that from me anymore.
And I'm choosing to stop letting screens steal that from me now.
I don't have to be perfect, just present.
I don't have to be perfect, just present.
And I'm ready to show up differently, one decision at a time.
And I'm ready to show up differently, one decision at a time.
Beautiful. All right, everybody take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And as you exhale, I want you to just close your eyes down gently, so long as you're not driving a car or something like that. And just inhale again, breathe in confidence, connection, calm, clarity. And exhale self doubt, resistance, disconnection, and distraction. Everything we just tapped through has opened you up to new possibilities in your body, in your mind. We've softened this old story, released a little bit of that charge, and now we're going to reinforce this shift on another level. So as you relax, feel your jaw relaxing, let your mind just float for a moment, like you've just closed 100 tabs, turned off all your electronics, the router is off. For me, this feeling sometimes feels a little bit like an unexpected snow day when you have a power outage and you just get to get really present and calm inside because there's so much that you simply can't do and you surrender to it. Maybe you cuddle up with a real paper book and a candle, or you make a cup of something and you just be with those around you. And you notice how different things feel. You play, you get curious, and you go deeper. Right now, your mind is floating in a really calm and relaxed state where everything else can simply wait. There's no pressure to figure anything out right now. And with every breath, you're arriving in your body and feeling more embodied than you have in ages. You settle into this stillness, and I want to take you somewhere. I want to take you to a place beyond the noise, beyond the pings and the pop-ups and the scrolling and the streaks, a place where time and energy and presence returns to you. Imagine that you are standing at the edge of a great adventure, and in your hand, you hold a ring. Not just any ring, but one that hums with power. This ring has promised you distraction, ease, connection, and entertainment. But it has also taken something from you. It's pulled at your time, it's eroded your focus, it's hijacked your presence. And now you're ready to let it go because you're not the same person who picked it up. You've grown stronger, more aware, more aligned. So imagine now walking up a winding path through mist, through memory, to a place where this ring no longer holds power over you. Maybe it's a mountain or a river, just a quiet place that you know in your mind. And as you arrive, you hear a whisper, not outside of you, but inside. Your time is yours again. Your mind is yours again. Your power is yours again. And now, with full presence, you release that ring. You feel the weight lift, and something ancient inside you reawakens. Focus, clarity, freedom, the truth of who you are without the distraction. You're not here to scroll through life. You're here to live it, to create, to connect, to love, to build something worthy of your time. I want you to imagine now that your screen time, any hours that may have slipped away in a trance of unconsciousness, are now floating gently in front of you like glowing orbs of light. Each orb represents a time you've used to cope, to hide, buffer, numb, avoid, or escape. And without any shame or judgment, I want you to thank those moments because they got you here. And now you're ready to use your time intentionally. Imagine gathering all of that scattered time back into your hands and feel it becoming available to you again, like a warm current flowing toward your heart. And see yourself just a short time in the future, almost here, having reset your relationship with screens, waking up with more clarity, joy, connection, purpose, and energy for what matters to you. Feeling more focused, more free. There's more space now for creativity, abundance, connection. And you are someone who uses that wisely and recognizes how valuable and irreplaceable it is. Someone who honors your attention. Someone who can regulate, rewire, and reclaim. And you begin by seeing where you've been leaking your precious power and energy. And now feel that identity settling in your body like a key just clicking into place. It's safe to change. It's safe to want more. And it's safe to begin again now. You trust yourself to take the aligned steps steps aligned with your highest good. You take another deep breath in and exhale slowly. And when you're ready, begin to bring yourself back to full awareness. Wiggle your fingers and toes, roll your shoulders, stretch, and gently open your eyes, bringing this new focus back with you. Welcome back, everyone. All right. So before we start anything else, let's revisit that question that we did before we started tapping and going through that. How activated do you feel right now when you think about your screen time habits on that scale of 0 to 10? And if you can, put the first number and the number from now in the chat, and let's see how we were able to decrease things in just a short period of time. And beautiful. Say we've got a 3 to a 1, from a 7 to a 3, 11 to a 4, 8 to a 4. Lots of people cutting it in half or more in just a few minutes, just, working in a general way. And yeah, how is that for you, Matthew? I know you haven't done EFT before like that. So how was the experience for you?
Feels like a warm electric blanket.
Cool. Good, good, good. All right. I worked some rings in there for you.
Yeah, I know. I was like, whoa, she talking about a ring all of a sudden? I was just shocked to see Wendy go from a 33 to a 1. That's impressive.
Oh my goodness. So I'd love to now kind of talk about how people can go farther with this and kind of how you started your community and what's available there.
Yeah, can I share a story? Is that okay?
Please share whatever you like.
Can I share my screen? Is that possible?
Yeah, I think I need to just, can you request to share it and I'll be happy to approve that.
Can everyone see these beautiful trees?
I
Okay,
can.
great. That means I'm in the wrong place. Excellent. Good start. Here we are. So, yeah, I want to tell you a story. So, if I scroll through here, I had a young man reach out to me. He's 17 years old. He reached out to me a few months ago and he's like, "Hey, mate, can you please help me? Like, are you the guy that helps people with their screens?" I was like, "Yes, mate, it's me. I am the one." And he's like, "Okay, okay, can you do something with me?" I'm like, I mean, my wife's on holiday right now. I don't really have time for like to hop on a call and I need to take care of my two kids and like it's like if I like you're a gamer, right? He's like, yeah, I love the game. I'm like, if I like make you a game to reduce your screen time, would you like do it? He's like, yeah. I'm like, if it was like a 7 day thing, like a 7 day adventure, would like, do you promise me you would do it? He goes, yeah, 100%, 100%, 100%. So while my girls were sleeping, I like quickly put together like a little 7 day thing and just made it for this one guy. And he joined it, and his name was Tyler. And Tyler reduced his screen time by 5 hours per day and got 76 days a year of his life back. And he's literally like, I feel like a changed man. I sleep like a normal person. My girlfriend wants me to tell you thank you, dude from Ireland. I'm like, no worries. And so I started this on school. If you're in Theresa's school community, which is awesome, it's just a place where people can come together and go on a journey together. And like all of a sudden, I was sitting at my desk, and randomly, like this other guy joined. His name's Isaac, and I was like, "Dude, you can't be in here. Like, this is just for Tyler." And he goes, "No, please don't kick me out. I really need this." I was like, "Okay." He cut his screen time by 2 hours per day, and this is the crazy part: 2 hours per day is 30 days per year. That is crazy how it all compounds and adds up. So this is me in my garden shed. More people start joining. Daniel joins 5 hours a day. Alan 4 hours per day. Philip 2 hours per day. Robin and Naomi a couple 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, 3 hours a day, and it just starts popping. Like it starts moving and grooving. I'm like, what the heck? Why is this working so well? Like I've made stuff like this before. Like why this? And I realized it's because I started it for a 17-year-old boy. And so accidentally, I had made it like least amount of effort, most amount of results, nothing crazy, nothing big. Because I went pretty extreme in the screen time. I was like, I'm gonna get a dumb phone and I'm gonna delete all my social media apps and I'm not gonna watch Netflix. And then like you go to meet someone and you're like, hey, would you like to do any of that? And they're like, No, I love doing those things. I don't want to do that. And so I was like, I accidentally have tapped into like what brings about lasting changes in people's lives in the first place is it's fun and it's easy to do. And I was like, wow, so we've really done something here. So over the course of like, I think it was like a 100-day period, I took over 150 people through the challenge. I iterated it. I made it better. I started weaving in all these fun story elements to it. I'll show you the first day here just to kind of show. So like this is what the classroom looks like, right? So it's like fun. It's gamified. Feels like you're going on a bit of an adventure. You go in here, and the whole thing is just like built off the Lord of the Rings. It's like, let's go on a journey, let's slay a dragon. It's, let's go with other people. We're going to make friends along the way, like da 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 da. And it's least amount of effort, most amount of results. And so,
Matthew makes incredible videos too. Like his videos
uh,
are so much.
oh, Wendy, if you think my jokes are good on Zoom, just you wait. So, yeah, we have this really fun thing called the Screen Time Adventure. I want to share with you exactly how it works. So here's a big thing, big adventure, big sword. It's like, wow, why does this guy like swords so much? Who the heck has a sword in his garden shed? Don't ask too many questions. But how it works is it's a 7-day adventure. It's a 7-day challenge. The end result is that you will get back 1 month of your life back every year from screens just by doing the 7 days. I'm not asking you to do anything more than 7 days, right? It relies on one proven willpower free trick that I discovered when I was doing my PhD. And here's the bit that everyone loves: you don't need to delete any apps. Oh, thank God. I can keep Candy Crush. You don't need to install any blockers. Great. No more screen time things that I end up ignoring anyway. And you don't need to give up anything that you love. So, literally, let's call it out. You can keep Netflix. Wendy, I'm sure you're a massive gamer. All that Xbox that you play, all that Call of Duty, don't you worry, Wendy. You can keep that going. Social media, keep that as well. And so, yeah, over the course of the last 6 months, we've helped over 250 people with this challenge reclaim 2.3 hours of their day from screens, which is 1 month per year. I've helped thousands of families do the same over the course of my career. And for all of you online entrepreneurs, everyone who works on a laptop, don't worry. You still do your laptop. You still do your working hours, and working hours aren't included in the challenge whatsoever. Otherwise, mine would be 8 hours per day because, yes, I am a 9 to 5 laptop worker. And so this is what Theresa went through. And whenever Theresa joined, I'm going to be very, very honest with you. Theresa paid $99 a month. So that's how much it was. I was like, I thought like my friends were telling me, they were like, a lot of my people are like online entrepreneur bros. They're like, you need to sell like a $10,000 coaching package and you need to do this and bring people to ba 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 ba. And I was like, nah, I don't know. Like that doesn't feel right. So then I was like, yeah, $99 a month. That's okay. That's okay. But as I started doing this, like I go into the community here, these are the wins. I started to see the wins. I started to see like people like Marion post these things where it's like, I came here to cut my screen time. And in the end, I've experienced like a total freedom life transformation. And along the way, like, because I'm on this journey too, right? I'm on this adventure. As I started going through this, I realized now, like, what my mission is. Because I've been very fortunate in my career. I've built and sold businesses. I've paid off my mortgage. I'm taking care of my wife. It's like I'm in a very, very fortunate position in my life at a young age. And so now I can start to think about, like, okay, like, well, what dent do I want to make in the universe, right? And it's come clear to me. It's like my mission is to cut 1 billion hours of screen time. And so it's 100,000 years of human potential, 100,000 years that I want to reclaim from big tech and allow all of us to reinvest back into our friends, back into our families, and back into the things that we actually care about, the things that we actually love. And so I spoke with Theresa and I was like, is it okay, do I have your permission to do this? And she was like, yeah. For everyone on the call, we've decided to make this 100% free. So for anyone who wants to do it, Theresa will put a link in the chat. It's totally for free. It's
Put
my
it right there
gift.
right now, everybody. It's there.
Yeah, it's our gift. Like Theresa was very, very generous in allowing me to come on here, very generous in allowing us to share it with you. And so, yeah, I would love to personally invite you to go on a little adventure, a little journey the next 7 days. Once you get in there, we explain step by step exactly what to do. And like I said, the end result will be a month of extra free time. Like a month of free time? Like, what would you do with a month of free time? Well, you're about to have to answer that question because you're about to get it. And so, yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity to spend this time with you. delighted to be able to invite you onto this adventure. And yeah, I'll just give a couple of seconds for anyone who wants to join. Whenever you join and you make your account, you'll fill in a couple of questions. It's just things like, what do you hope to get out of this adventure? Someone here said less screen time to get more done in the now and enjoy my life. I ask, what would you do with an extra month of your life this year? So I get outside more. And this is basically just a short little application process so that we can keep the community really tight knit, the quality super high, and so that people can continue to go and get the results that they have got.
Yeah. It's a great community. There's great conversations happening over there. And I will say this for all of you who are in my community or my world, I will personally be celebrating anyone who finishes the first part of this, the 7 days, with a shout out. And also, if you message me that you finished it, I will create a personal round of EFT for you for whatever challenges you currently have coming up.
Nice.
And send that your way. So, definitely shoot me a message once you've finished the 7 days, and so that I can celebrate you and create that for you, and give you something even more.
Lovely. I'm just
So
approving some of these awesome people. Welcome, Karen. Welcome, Jennifer. Super awesome. Love it.
we should probably check through the chat and make sure we haven't missed anything. Does anybody have any questions? We don't have a terribly huge group here right now, so if anybody, does wish to, unmute or anything, and also if anybody is in need of any like more help with like the nervous system and subconscious mind aspect of this, you're welcome to always schedule a quick 15-minute call with me, gamechangingconversation.com, and I'd be happy to help you with some of those underliers there and make some suggestions to help you with whatever those next steps might be. So that's there also. And for anybody who's watching this replay later, we will make sure that that link to join Matthew's community is somewhere around where you're watching the replay. So take a look for that. All right. Does anybody have any questions or anything that we can answer, whether it's about Matthew's group or the EFT, hypnosis, anything to do with what we've been talking about today? Happy to hear your wins, your takeaways, or your questions. Wendy, you got it.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much to both of you. You're both delightful, and what a fun time. And what I find interesting is that I haven't noticed my screen time as much as my mother has. Yes, I still have a mother. Anyway, the point is that she comments on how much time I spend on the computer, and she seems to see that whenever I check my phone for business, that she says, you tell me I've got a problem. So really what I'm saying with all of this is that you've given me a heightened awareness that, that maybe I'm really not as balanced as I could be. And maybe those results would be greater than I could ever expect. So thank you both so much.
Yeah,
Pleasure,
total
Wendy.
pleasure, Wendy. Yeah, it's really interesting. Like in as part of like the little adventure, we help people do like a little calculation. And like when you do the calculation, you're kind of like, oh. Like I was 16 when I did it, and I think I realized I'd spent, this is not a joke, 420 days on the one video game. I was like, oh, that doesn't even include sleeping time. And so it all comes from a place of like, there's no way your screen time could have been worse than mine is. So it's like we're all on the mission together. It's like, yeah, all good, all fun.
Yeah. It's crazy to think about how much time it just kind of goes right past you without the intention or the awareness. So bringing awareness to it is always going to be the first step. And it's a lot of what we're doing in our community anyway, over and over again, because without awareness, it's really hard to make any kind of shifts or changes that are helpful for you. So I love that awareness is there. And I think it's really cool that your mom's calling you out on it too. How old did you say your mom is now, Wendy? She's in her 90s, right?
She's 92 and she's hooked. I'm just saying she should play this game. I'm going to get her to play this game.
Yes.
Wendy,
Oh,
I would love if your 92-year-old mom played this game. That would be
right.
so
Tell me
awesome.
when she joins. I've got to see her in there. That would be so cool. All
We
right.
have had we had a 78-year-old play, so it's up for grabs. It's definitely up for grabs. The oldest player.
That's awesome. So cool. I see Sherry's got her hand up. What would you like to ask or contribute, Sherry? Good to see you too. All right. Where did Sherry go?
There we go. Sorry, I couldn't see my mute for a second because I was playing with reactions and I'm on my phone. I have about a 3-day work week, and I have 6 children, and I am trying to start my 4th business right now. And anyway, it's been interesting because my next steps are things that I'm, you've done all the little ones, and your next step's a big step. And so I literally spent 6 hours this week playing a merging game. And on one day, that was the day I was supposed to be rewriting my business plan, getting it ready to submit to the
Hey, I
lenders.
mean,
And
makes sense.
like,
Checks out. I mean, put the 2 decisions on the table.
right, right. So anyway, I thank you. I have, again, with my 6 kids, I've got 4 boys. And our family, like my family, has a lot of addiction problems in the past. You know what I mean? Just yeah, gambling issues, drinking issues, etc. So I've tried really hard. Like my kids have gab phones when they turn 16. You know what I mean? Try and reduce that screen time. But my 8-year-old just got his ADHD diagnosis this week. And you know what he asked for in the first 10 minutes of the day? We're like, clothes on, get your room clean. Mom, I've worked so hard to keep everything clean. I want to play games now. And that's not how we do this. And it's been really exciting. I appreciate, like I said, a lot of what you've said is stuff that I've researched and I've heard before, except for your story. I really appreciate it. But when I know that my nervous system is out of whack, when I am scared of my next steps, when I'm scared of where my kids are going next, I have 2 kids living in Mexico for the last 2 weeks, and it's a big deal with where we live and what we're trying to carry to try and stay intentional and not move this far. Matthew, thank you. Theresa, thank you.
You're
Absolutely,
so
Sherry.
welcome. One of my
Yeah.
favorite quotes in the world is hurt people, but free people, free people. And like, game sees game, game respects game. It's like, as one person trying to reclaim their family tree that I see in you, and as another guy in Ireland who's trying to do the same, it's like, this is the freedom adventure that we're on. And so like, yeah, I just want to honor you and like say fair play to you for being the one that breaks the chain, because it is not easy,
It's not.
and it takes one person to do it. And yeah, you signed up for this mission, so did I, and so
Right.
let's
So
go and do it.
bravehearting our freedom. Well, and that's
Yeah,
the thing. When I come back to my virtue checks, my number one is freedom. I
me
want independence,
too.
right? That's the virtue that I fight for. And so when I realize I'm losing again, why am I working on this next business? It's a freedom run. You know what I mean? So there we go. Thank you. Thank you
It's
again.
beautiful. It's beautiful work that you're doing, Sherry. And remind me if I don't send it to you. I can send you. I have a great workshop on like breaking generational cycles and stuff too that might be supportive for you with what you're going through now too. So I'm happy to share that too. All right, I see. Susie, did you have your hand up and did it come down or did you? Oh, it is up. It's blending in with your background. So I was like, I not see it.
Sorry about
Okay,
that.
feel free to ask.
Well,
Great
I
to have.
just wanted to thank you, Teresa, for bringing Matthew on, and Matthew for coming and sharing with us. It is my business, as you can see by all the yarn behind me. My business is very analog in nature because
Yeah.
it's stuff we do with our hands, and it is a challenge in this season of technology to live an analog life, to run an analog business in a digital world, you know, and having those, I'm not a game player, so a lot of that stuff doesn't impact me, but the scrolling and the mindless the things that are like, I have ADHD, and if I can't get my brain to quiet down, numbing out, that becomes just a numbing out thing. It isn't even about what the thing is, and it's instinctive, I think, because it's right here. It's so freaking handy, and like you said, they those evil they exactly.
Who are they? Nobody knows, but they're there.
Exactly. Who are they? We don't know, but they are there, and but they have a very much an intentionality, and they feed it to us. They flavor it to us as if they're doing us a favor, and we take the bait. hook, line, and sinker. And I think, I posted in the chat thread that even though I'm a small business owner online with an online business, my phone, I don't keep social media apps on my phone. I don't have email on my phone. I don't bank on my phone. That is all very segregated and designated and boundaried to my laptop for my work hours. And it doesn't mean that there aren't workarounds to get to those things periodically, but it does make it more challenging for me to go on a social platform.
Yeah.
I have to do a lot of hoops because every time you close it, I get logged out. And then I'm like, oh, that seems like way too much work. So
Yeah. You are
um,
making some awesome environmental changes.
it is. And I think for me, that came back to, habit stacking, right? So don't make it so easy for myself. And I have considered going back to a dumb phone. I really have, because I don't want it. I don't want or need the world chasing me and following me everywhere I go.
Yeah. Do they actually still sell those, Matthew, or do you have to like dig one out from some like
You
how
No,
do you
you
can
you
get
gotta
them.
find a wizard down a dark alleyway. He's got a trench coat. You gotta like bring a rabbit and like some other weird things. No, you can get them. Like
You can.
there's some for like $20 you can buy.
Yeah.
You can get these
Amazing.
fun old flip phones as well. It's like they still sell them, yeah. Actually,
Ooh,
my
tricorder.
cell plan is like $4 a month for this. I was like, do they still make cell plans like that? Apparently they do. And I also have the latest iPhone. That's just the duality of man. But this lives in my garden shed, so I come in, surf the web, then I'm out of there.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another great one, is that, that it only lives in certain places. And remembering, just like the utensils we have in our kitchen, the tools we have in our garden shed, it's a tool.
Right.
This
Mhm.
is a tool. And we have, and we get to choose how those tools serve us, or we choose how we serve them. We also get to choose whether or not they are weaponized by us or against us. And all of those things are decisions and choices that we make. And learning to do that with intentionality, I think, is the big challenge of being aware of it and choosing intentionally. So again,
Absolutely.
thank you.
You. Thank you, Susie, for your
Thank you.
contribution, everything with that, and for being here today. We're gonna wrap up, but I do see that Maria has a question and has her hand up, so I just want to honor that real quick, and then we're gonna wrap up for the day. So, what would you like to share, Maria?
It's going to be very interesting going through these exercises, only because, and I did sign up, by the way. Um,
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much for doing this. I do really do appreciate it, because I do need to regulate my nervous system. It is not completely dysregulated, but because I'm so hyper aware of myself, that I know I need, and I guess that comes with the ADHD thing. Um, but I not only work digitally, I work from home most days. There's times where I do go into the plant to work, but my job is not a linear job. It is not 8 to 5. It is from whenever my suppliers in Europe or China or Japan or Taiwan are, versus Europe, United States, Mexico, Nicaragua. I have all time zones. Plus, I'm also trying to start my own little digital business. So, how do you control that? And on top of that, I do horribly go back to my little solitaire game just for numbness.
Yeah, there's a lot of complexities here, and I want to hear what Matthew has to say. I think because I know with everything that Matthew's going to teach you, he's not going to make you give up anything work-wise. But I will
Right.
say there is a difference or an awareness to bring to how you're working too, because I know a lot of
Mhm.
us numb or avoid by working more than we need to or longer than we need to and avoiding other things in our life that are really important. So just want to bring awareness there too. Like he's not going to tell you to not do your work or whatever, but there are sometimes ways when we can be more intentional about how we're working and the way that we're spending our time.
And that's what I need help with, is being more intentional, because there's times where I get so overwhelmed with work, because right now I'm in the automotive industry, and I have so many projects launching in the between now and the next 6 months that it is becoming overwhelming. Plus, I'm trying to do all this other stuff on my own, and I feel myself shutting down and just turning something on just for the quiet, just to numb everything out. And that's what I'm looking forward to, is being able to do things with intention and still accomplish something.
So definitely, I think you said you already joined Matthew's group. I think you're already in my community. And
Yes, I am.
if you want to book one of those calls with me, I'd be happy to talk to you about some of my insights and things that might help you with what you're personally dealing with your
Okay.
work-life situation. So,
Okay. Sounds
yeah.
great. Thank you.
Do you have anything to
Yeah.
add to that, Tim?
Yeah, I mean, I could like choose to drop like a bunch of like tools on your head right now, but I think instead of doing that, yeah, I think I'd like to just like give you a little bit of grace. And what I mean by that is, it's like you have a lot on your plate. And often people who have a lot on their plate, they're like, oh my goodness, how am I going to manage everything on this plate? And it's like, well, I think you just need to accept that there's a lot on the plate. And like, you know what I mean? Like, you can't, 2 plus 2 cannot equals 40. It's like,
No,
something has to give. And it sounds like the thing that's giving is you. And
unfortunately.
fully aware of like financial situations, fully aware of like the demands of modern life. But, this auto job, do you like this job?
I actually really do enjoy my position.
Yeah.
I'm a purchaser for automotive components, little itty bitty components that are made all over the world, but I do enjoy it. But because of my age, and I find myself aging out, I'm going to start aging out of corporate here pretty soon. I'm trying to start to establish something on my own so that it can take off and be running by the time I age out of corporate. So yes, that's part of the issue there, because that's always in the back of my mind.
Right.
So but as I'm listening to all this, believe it or not, I have also been working. So
Yeah, of course. Of course.
you know but I did do the tapping. I did take the 5 minutes, 10 minutes out for the tapping, so thank you for that, Teresa.
Yeah. So I know we're over time here, but I just want to share one more
Sorry.
thing. Oh, no. I'm saying I'm sorry because I'm about to just break the clock for a second here.
Feel free.
So can you see my screen, everybody?
Yes.
Essentialism, energy diagram. You ever read this book? It's called Essentialism.
No.
Okay. So
I have.
this right here will blow your mind. Respectfully, and I mean this with all the love in the world, like you're doing your thing, like you are aging out of corporate, you're building a side hustle, you're doing all this, like this is you right now. And so we're like,
Mm-hmm.
if you feel a certain kind of way, like it's like this is a map. It's like, congratulations, you are here. You know what I mean? It's like ding, 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 ding. And so I would just, take a screenshot of this or go and search this on Google. It's just called Essentialism Energy Diagram. And I think in order for you to like go the distance that you want to go here, look at some of the arrows that you can cut. And going through the adventure, the 7-day adventure that you're about to walk through in my community, like we will cut some of these arrows for you and you'll get a lot more breathing space. You'll get a lot more headspace back for your own life. And I would like to just suggest, like, there's probably other things that you can start to cut away that will give you the energy and just like, yeah, the energy required to even just do the things that you're currently doing, never mind trying to start another business as well. And I fully understand, like, I'm an entrepreneur. I respect the hustle. I love people going out there and changing their lives and their destiny. I'm never going to like deny that. But it's like a rocket ship, right? The rocket burns like 95% of its fuel just getting out of the atmosphere. And so if you're trying to get out of the atmosphere with this new business while also like you can only have one rocket ship, you only have a set amount of fuel. And so I would just look at like where that fuel is being allocated and maybe just sometimes it's better to go slow to go fast. Sometimes it's better to take a step back. Again, I understand the treadmill of modern life, but I just wanted to give you that kind of like maybe grace or permission or just like acceptance of where you are because you're doing a lot and I see you and I respect you and like fair play. But yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, I mean, what I'm trying to do is very manual as well, not just digital, but it's also very, I'm creating recipes to help people. So, which I enjoy cooking. But yeah. But anyway, thank you. I won't keep you guys any longer. I know you were
No,
over time.
you're so good. Like I don't know what, stepping out of corporate looks like for you. I don't know what the income requirement is that you have. But like what
Ugh,
Susie was
it's
saying about analog businesses, like sometimes going and taking a little 9 to 5 or a little 9 till 3 or something like
Mhm.
that's in a physical location. Like there's some like I used to work as a bicycle messenger, and can I just say, it was the best job in the world.
Yeah.
I loved it. But again, you've got circumstances that we don't know about, and so you'll figure it out.
Yeah. I have to.
Yeah,
Oh,
totally.
thank you for sharing that with us, though, Marie. I appreciate hearing about what's going on in your life and your work for sure. And there's two questions that I saw here in the chat that I just want to make sure we address real quick before we end. Someone asked if it was appropriate for someone young, like an 8-year-old.
Yeah, so I would say that everything is censored that I say in the 7 Night Challenge, the way I talk about corn and things like that. So I would say it depends how mature your 8-year-old is. Like if your kid has seen Lord of the Rings or something of that nature with like big scary dragons and like, dark hooded figures chasing little hobbits and they're okay with that, yeah, it could be fine, but you really need to probably look at it yourself and see if you think it's appropriate. The decisions that you will make as a family will impact the kid, and so the kid will benefit from it. It's really up to you to go and watch it a couple of the videos to see if it would work for them. But definitely the action part for sure is the content itself. I don't know if they would find it interesting. Maybe it's a little bit too into psychology and brains and stuff like that. But again, you know your kid better than we do.
Yeah, perfect. And then Susie asked what your podcast is.
Oh, honestly, my podcast is inside this the screen community now. I mean, I've been a part of maybe like 30 different podcasts over the years, but if you go into the classroom there, it's like each part of the challenge is like its own little mini show. And we do like live calls in there as well and interviews and all sorts of stuff. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you everybody for sticking around this long with us. Thank you for your interest and for, participating as much today. Thank you, Matthew, for being here and for everything that you shared and for opening up your community for free to my community to be able to experience the amazing stuff that's inside. And I'm excited to hear from all of you. Feel free to, share in my community how it's working for you and everything else. And of course, in Matthew's community. And I look forward to celebrating those of you that get through that 7 days and seeing what happens for you, how much time you get back in your lives for things that matter to you way more than, Candy Crush or YouTube or whatever else. So I'm really excited for that. So thanks again, Matthew, and thank you to all of you.
Dude, absolute pleasure. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Theresa. Have a great weekend.
All right, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.